Shavua Tov, and here we are in Parashat VaYera. VaYera is a very powerful parasha. This week is very powerful, which means it's a so typical Scorpio kind of a week, which is we just started the week, but it is one of the most intensive weeks of the whole year. Intensive, which means it's like kind of a concentration of the great question of our days, which is, what do you do with all the stress? What do you do when you feel like the stress is going to get you to explode? What about it? The pressure is so strong that you feel you're going to blow into pieces? What about it? Sometimes the pressure is so strong you don't want to live anymore. What do you do with that depression that comes out when you're so hopeless because the stress doesn't give you any space to be? That is what this parasha is about. And why it is like this, and it's like every year, from my experience, a lot of people get very, very stressed out. Very stressed out during this week, and it's not bad news. It's not bad news. It's not that I'm trying, some people say don't say it because it's a prophecy that it's self-fulfilling. Okay, fulfilling itself. No, it's not because of that. It's because we, in our day and age, most of us, we do not know how to translate what we're going through and how to understand it as part of our own spiritual growth. And that's what I'm trying to explain today. Now, Parashat VaYera is a very powerful parasha by the way it's written, and also because tradition says that it starts on chapter 18 in Genesis, verse 1, and VaYera elav Hashem. And VaYera comes from the Hebrew letters of Reish Aleph Hey, to see, Ra'ah. There are a few parashot that the names of that parashot, VaYera, VaYera, Re'eh, all of them come from the same root. All of them mean basically a prophetic vision. Now, prophetic vision is not something that you do on your spare time. Look at the history of prophets, real great prophets. And I spoke about it last week, and this is a continuation. Last week, the parasha was Lech Lecha. And Lech Lecha means move on. Move on and on the go. It's like both in the same expression. Move to yourself, move on, and get going. And Abraham is going. And he's going, and he's going, and he's going, and he doesn't stop going, this parasha either. He's on the go. And what does it mean that he's on the go? He's starting that venture that is called humanity. When humanity finally starting to realize its calling. And our calling is to be those magical creatures that have the ability to create something out of nothing. We have the ability to create miracles. When we don't create miracles, we wilt and we die. And a lot of people, like Benjamin Franklin said, I love to repeat it, a lot of people die at 25, the burial is at 75, which means they're dead, and they just hang out. They make believe that they're alive, but really deep inside, they just gave up. They're dead. But that's not being a human being. Human being means Lech Lecha, being on the go. You wake up this morning, as we learned last week, not to live yesterday all over again. You wake up this morning in order to create something new that was never there before. To create something new, and that means a miracle. Because the Hebrew word for miracle, as we learned, is the word nes. And nes means to flee up and above. Lanus velitnoses. What I mean, to flee out of your box and above it. Look at it from above and say, whoa, that's so different than the way I used to see it. And when you reinvent your sight, when you reinvent the way that you look at things, you reinvent basically yourself. Because you react differently, you perceive things differently, you understand things differently, and you feel differently about everything in your life. And of course, when you do it on a regular basis, And then you start to believe in life. You start to trust life. Why? You know that whatever you're going through, it's going to be different, and you know what? It's going to be okay. Why? It's all about achieving greatness. What's the problem? The problem is sometimes we're not moving fast enough. That's one thing. Another time we're not moving. Period. So Rabbi Ashlag, the great founder of the modern Kabbalah movement around the world, they just passed away in 1954, but he said, you have two ways that you're going to move. One way is rear wheel drive, and one way is front wheel drive. What does it mean? Rear wheel drive is you're stuck, and then the creator starts to beat you up. So what do? You turn your rear to the beatings and you run for your life. That's called rear wheel drive, which means what's moving you is the fear that the beatings are going to get you. So you're moving out and away from the beatings and the pain, and that's rear wheel drive. Front wheel drive is when you set yourself a goal that is so exciting that you're running after it, that you're chasing after it. And you know what? The moment you're chasing after your future, you don't need to be beaten up. So you don't need a rear wheel drive, so it disappears from your life. So if you think that your life is too much of a rear wheel drive, maybe it's time to shift into front wheel drive, and that depends on your vision. Abram, in this parasha, we meet him sitting there in the opening of the tent. Like, since when the Torah needs to tell us the graphic illustration of the environment? Not just this, it says it was very hot that day, so hot, like the sun was taken out of its sheath. Like, does the sun has a sheath? Oh, we know there's how do you call it, ozone layer. But they were not supposed to know that. The sun was burning whoever was around. Abraham is sitting outside. And the words are VaYera elav Hashem. And God has revealed to him, but we're talking about epiphany. We're talking about a prophetic vision. He has that amazing prophetic vision. Why? He's 99 years old. He just had the circumcision 3 days earlier, when he's 99 years old. It's the first time he's really into the covenant. He was. He's walking on that road since he was 55. That's 45 years walking and running forward and chasing after what? After the truth. But remember what the Zohar says. A lot of people, life is about what is truth and what is a lie. You know, when I know the truth, then I'm going to go all the way. You know, people doing that, saying that, meanwhile waiting to find the truth. And the Zohar has something to say about it. Who do you think you are that you deserve to know what's the truth? Do you think that knowing the truth comes for free? Abram runs from one place to another. As the Zohar says, he's trying to basically fit himself, find the truth. And every move, he's getting better and closer to the truth. Is he at the absolute truth? You know when you are into the absolute truth? When you die. Only then, when you get rid of the physical illusion of the body. That's why the other world is called the Olam HaEmet, the world of truth. This world is Alma de Shikra, it's Olam HaSheker, the world of lies. Why lies? Because you see through the eyes, and they lie to you all the time. Right? Everything that looks great is good for you. And what about the taste? Everything that tastes good is good for you. Everything that sounds, whoever talks to you nicely, it means that they really care for your interest. Yeah? No. I rest my case. How many times we fool ourselves because we take some pieces from our senses and we try to force it into a belief system. Okay? So we're blind, we're deaf. and whatever you just want to say. We know almost nothing about everything. So what do we do with it? Says the Zohar, it's all about effort. No pain, no gain. You put the effort, you earn. What do I mean putting the effort? Whatever you believe is the truth, do it truthfully. And you know what? When you do it truthfully, only then you will realize if it's real or not. Only then. Why? Out of really trying, out of really earning it. And you know what happens? Then you walk to the next level, and then to the next level, and the next level. And then you know that every level you are at has an expiration date on it. Although you don't see that. Maybe by tomorrow you'll think differently. Maybe by next week, maybe by next year. But real spiritual people, they cannot bet on the truth, because whatever you think is the truth for now won't be necessarily the truth tomorrow. Why? Because our ability to perceive the truth depends on our openness, growth, conviction, commitment to spiritual growth. That it is. And that takes time. And that's why Abraham, it takes him 45 years to know he need to be circumcised. So, what about all these 45 years he was not circumcised? We shouldn't talk about it. Right? Why? Oh, he was not there yet. He was not there yet. No, he got there because he was there all the way. What does it mean? Reaching that level of seeing even a partial truth, because when Abraham was 99 in this parasha, did he see the whole thing and nothing, and just the whole truth, but nothing but the truth? No. He had how many more years? A lot. Right? I think it was about 90 more years, 80 more years. He passed away. He kept on moving till the last day. He kept on moving. Why? You didn't wake up this morning to rest. You woke up this morning to create a new reality and make a difference for yourself, maybe also for others, maybe for the whole world, maybe just, I don't know. Everybody has his own calling and his own duty and his own job, but it's always part of the big picture. Now the problem is like this. And God appears to him. He's there in the entrance to the tent. It's a very hot day. Why is it so hot? Since when the Torah tells us about the weather? Because, President Truman said, if it's too hot, you should get out of the kitchen. And that's the message for everyone. If it's too hot, it's not about getting. A lot of people try to get out of the kitchen, but it's not the solution. Sooner or later, you're going to get it hot again. When it's too hot, you know it's time to move on. And what's the moving on? The next level. Now, the day was by tradition, Rosh Hashanah. That's amazing. The story continues that, just to give you a little spoiler, we're not in a suspense story, but everybody knows. You just read the Bible, it says so. Okay, read Bereshit, Genesis. One of the angels tell Abraham that this is it. Today, a year from now, Sarah has a son. His name will be Yitzchak. Okay? Which means Yitzchak is born when? On Rosh Hashanah. 37 years later, on his birthday, we read the story that Abraham is taking him to Mount Moriah to bring him as a sacrifice, and it's the story of the binding of Isaac that happens when? On Rosh Hashanah. What do we read on the first day of Rosh Hashanah in the Torah, in the synagogue? The part that Isaac is born. What do we read on the second day? The part about the binding of Isaac. So this is the parasha that we read on Rosh Hashanah. Do you need a better proof? And what's Rosh Hashanah? There's another name for Rosh Hashanah. Yom Hadin. The day of judgment. And judgments. When somebody there feeling the judgment, this is hot. This is pressure. This is intense. This is feeling being fried, grilled, right? You can be grilled by the judge. You can be grilled by the prosecutor attorney. You can be grilled by your own conscience. But this is a day, and that's all of this energy appears again this week. Why? Because we said in the last few weeks, a new year has started. Hopefully, luckily, we really did change during the high holidays. Now we have to relearn the basic rules. We have to reenact the rules. Why? Because we're different right now. So you need to download an upgrade of the main programs. And the main programs are the same programs, but you right now you're supposed to look at it from another place, because hopefully you change a place. So you're reenacting the rules means that everything that was right last year is not supposed to be right today, because you're supposed to be changing. And if you're not going to be changing, you're going to be fried. Why? Because that's a very real drive. That's the heat of the pressure. Why a pressure? Because Abraham needs to move on. It's not that he's circumcised, that he's a righteous person, now he can retire. You never retire. You know, that's why we say about Lech Lecha. The Talmud says only angels are called Omdim. Omdim means standing. People are called Holchim, walking. What do I mean walking? Holchim. Holchim means moving from one step to another. Humans, they are supposed to change all the time. Angels are not supposed to change. Every angel has his job, he does his job. That's why, a lot of people, they want to find, their niche. They want to find a place, and it's going to be safe, and they want to make sure that every day will look exactly like the previous day, so no surprises, no disappointment. Oh, you want to be an angel? No, you can't. You're human. Look down, do you have two legs? You have the option for two legs, so you're a human being. If you're a human being, you have to be walking. You have to be walking? Okay, you try. Try to create everything cushioned and fortified so it will stay the same. You heard about rear-wheel drive. It will come sooner or later. And when it comes, you call it stress, you call it pressure, you call it whatever names you want. It won't go your way. Why? Because that's not your calling. You were not created to be the same all the time. You were created to create miracles every day. And the biggest miracle, which means, do you want to change nature of, that clouds are not going to look like clouds, are going to look like something else? No, that's not a miracle. A miracle is when you change your nature, when you change your perception, when you change your belief system, when you realize that happiness comes through change and transformation, reinventing yourself. That's where happiness comes in. And misery is coming when you're trying to fight it. So what do you do when you feel so much pressure? What do you do when you feel so much pain? What do you do when you feel that it's too big for you? Too big. So much. And you have how would I do it? How can I do it? I don't know what to do. I'm full of stress. I'm full of disbelief. I'm full of fear. What should I do? I'm fried. And the answer is here. Abraham has a revelation, a prophetic revelation. He has God, Rashi says, the great commentator from the 11th century from France, VaYera elav levaker et hachole. He's 3 days after the circumcision. The guy's 99 years old. Guys, that's tough, right? So God comes to visit him. It's called Mitzvah Bikur Cholim, the mitzvah of visiting the sick. Okay? Yeah, but here's God, shows that, you visit the sick, even if they're not so in the same class you are. You go and visit the sick, that's a mitzvah. Helping them, supporting them. However, God comes to you and visit you. There's another layer to the story. Abraham is sitting where? In front of the tent. Why? Your third day after the circumcision, you're 19, lie in bed. Go to bed. No, he's there. He's there looking for guests. Isn't that a little problem? God reveals to you. You have this amazing moment. We're talking about this is one of the greatest moments in the history of mankind. After the sin of Adam, finally Abraham reaches that level of a true covenant, true connection to God, the highest level ever. Hashem Youdkevitch reveals to him, and he's stressed out because there are no guests. How does that sound like? Like if God visits you, you're just like, you don't think about anything else. Teaching us something very important. One of the most important things in a person's life. We're talking about the rules of life. We're not talking about, it's not a gossip, it's not a soap opera or telenovela or something about the life of Abraham, the life of Sarah, and their son, about the dynasty of Abraham. This is not the story of these people. Each story is giving us the rules for each one of us. You have an epiphany, you have a revelation, or you feel like you're fried. It's the same story. Same story. You know what happens when the light of God comes in and you're not ready? You feel fried. What if the light of God is coming and you're ready? It looks like you're ready. Whoa! And you feel so great. Still the same rules apply. Why? Why do they apply? Let's go on a little bit farther. It says that Abraham is stressed out for the guests. So God says, okay, you're having a revelation, I'm visiting you, I'm revealing to you those huge universal secrets, and you're stressed out for guests. Okay, I'll give you guests. He's sending these three angels that Abraham, he has a revelation by God, but God makes it that he sees them as people. You understand what I'm saying? Abraham, in his biggest revelation, he can't see these are angels and they don't eat. No, he sees what he needs to see. You want to see the truth? What do you want to tell me? You want to be higher than Abraham? What are you talking about? We see what we need to see. Abraham saw what he needed to see. He needed to see people, humans. They were angels. He needed to see humans. What does he do? The moment he sees them, it says, VaYera tzikatam. He sees and he runs towards them. Runs. Guys, the guy had the surgery. He's 99 years old. It's very hot that day. He could say, hello, hey. No, he runs. Come over. No, he runs. He comes to them. And he bows down to them. He greets them. But then he says to God, that's verse 3, VaYomer Adonai, imna matzati chen b'einecha na tavor ma'alavdecha. He says to God, Adonai, okay, please hold. I have guests. Is that logical? You see. And then he says, Yukachna matmayim, take some water, wash your legs, he tells the guests, Hishanu tachat and rest under the tree. Says the Zohar, Abraham had a magical tree. Wherever he went to, the tree was taken with him. What was magical about this tree? You know, there's these plants, you touch them and they close down. Mm. That tree was a special one, very special. What does the Zohar says about this tree? If a guest came to Abraham and sat under the tree, if that person was connected to the impure system, the tree will raise its branches and the sun will shine right on top of the guest. But if the guest was not impure, he was kind of a spiritual journey, the tree will spread its branches and shade over the guest. Now what does that mean? Abraham would know from that what kind of a treatment should he give to the guest. And the Zohar explains to us, this is one of the most important rules we have to learn every year all over again. There's two rules about connecting to God's might and power and love and whatever bliss. The giving of the Creator is endless, unconditional, and it's infinite. What makes the difference? It's us. Now, when a person wants the light and the bliss of the Creator, he can never say no. He always give it to you. What's the problem? That when a person wants it all and wants it now, and he wants it especially in a selfish way. You know, everybody wants to feel good. Everybody wants to feel high. Everybody wants to feel great. So you do whatever you believe to fulfill yourself, to feel great. The problem is like this. After the creation, remember, we were created perfect. And that's our problem. We can't get free gifts. So the universe was created kind of messed up. It was not so easy to mess it up. Okay? So we can create light out of darkness and sweetness out of bitter. So we can take stuff that is broken and put it together. And that's our job. So we can feel like we created, we co-creators with God. Now, what does it mean? How do you do that? And the answer is, when you just want it to be great, and you just focus on being great and being good and be feeling good, and you just get the best food and the guests, whatever you do in order to feel great, that's called drawing in, pulling in direct light. What is direct light? You want to feel good, and you want to feel now, and you don't care about anything else. Okay, you're self-centered, or as Rabbi calls it, desire to receive for the self alone. You know what? Desire to receive for the self alone will give you the best results. You feel the best when you're selfish. Just for a moment. The next moment, the rules of the universe kick in. And what does it mean? Because you want it just for yourself, that's called direct light. You get a high, but then you get a buy. The system short-circuits yourself. And then, because it's illegal, as Rav Ashlag explains, after the Tzimtzum, after the creation of the universe, it's illegal by universal law to receive just because you want. And every time we receive just because we want, and we self-centered, we receive the light, we receive the joy. It feels great. The same way, when you turn the light on and there's a short circuit, just before it's getting dark, it's a big place, right? So there's a lot of light, and then there's a morning after. And then there's a crash. There's a splash and a crash, a high and a buy. And how do you look like? Manic depressive, manic depressive. And after a while, you become so painful and so aching. And that's the source of so many people going through so much stress, negativity, fear, ache. You need medications, you need that, all of that. Why? Because you don't take just because it's there, just because you can. So what's the solution? We learn from Abraham, when the tree raises its branches above the head of the guest, we learn that the guest connects to the impure system. What's the impure system? Because you connect because you want so, you feel great because you want so, and because you take it because you want so and you can, but again, then it burns you alive, short-circuits your system. Being selfish is illegal. What does it mean it's illegal? Our systems cannot hold on to it. That's why it's called the impure system, because it shuts down. It has a built-in shutdown system. So, how do you shut it down? Is when you feel great, when you feel good, when you feel that you're lucky and you're bliss, whatever. What do? You want it to continue, right? What's the rule to continue it? Share it with others. What happens when you share it with others? You kind of diminish the pleasure you feel. Let's say you're eating something like very, the most, somebody brought to you the best chocolate ever. Okay, let's say you love chocolate. Okay, he brought you this piece. So what do? Some people, they just go to a corner, nobody will see them. Or go to the office and close the door. Right? And then,
yeah, okay. Hi.
and what do you do then? You enjoy the best out of it. And you burn yourself down. You basically burn yourself down. That's what happens. So this is normal. This is the way it's supposed to be. And that's what kills people. By focusing on themselves. Because the light that comes in basically burns yourself down. Okay? Now, what's the other option? When you share, what do you do? Remember what we said about the branches? It's like the branches make a shade. What is a shade? It's bringing down the intensity of the light of the sun. Correct? So how do you bring it down so it doesn't burn you? How do you do that? When you share with others. So what an amazing story. What is amazing rule. You feel that you're burning down. You feel that you're overwhelmed by the powers of life. Well, what does it mean? It's a lot of intensity coming out. It's the light of the Creator coming into your life and saying, enough is enough, move on. And you feel this pain, and you feel this anguish, and you feel this terrible emotions that are uncontrollable. There's no way to run away to. Let's say some people sleep, take sleeping pills, you take drugs, you take one, and you know what? Sooner or later, the pain comes back. So how do you do that? You have to diminish the power, right? How do you diminish the power? When you give to others. So when you're stressed out, when you feel that you're fried, when you feel that the energy is too much, when you feel that life is not just to you, what is the best way to make it better? Do something for others. How does Abraham does it? How does he do it? It says, first of all, he gets up, he runs. He doesn't walk, he runs. Like his life is dependent on it. Why? When you feel the light of God coming at you, and you feel that high and that power, if you're not going to go on sharing, you're going to go on fire. And Abraham knows the rules already. Why is he stressed out? Because he said, this is so high, this is so great. I'm experiencing God like first in history. Since Adam ate the fruit of the tree of knowledge. And it's like, this is so great. Oh my God, this is so dangerous. I have to shade it. I have to create a shade. How do you create a shade? Share it with others. You know, in our world, we are brainwashed for the wrong rules. What they teach, you have to be about yourself. You have to be with myself. I have to be. You want to really do it, you have to do it with others. You have to share it with others. Because if you are just by yourself, it will burn you. It will fry you. It will grill you on the grill. When you feel that stress, that pressure, you feel that everything explodes in your face, it's because you're taking too much. There's too much light, and you don't know how to make a shade. And what's the shade? The moment you care for someone else, you get out of yourself. What do you do at that moment? The shade. Because people think, how do I get more joy? By focusing on my desire to get more joy. Dangerous. Dangerous. You want to feel good? Make others feel good too. That's a rule. You have to create by giving and by sharing. You create that energy that is called returning light. The light, there's another form of it, it is called the light of chasadim, the light of loving kindness. That light cools down everything. When you feel it's too hot, don't get out of the kitchen. When you feel it's too hot, it means God is giving you so much power. Cool it down. Do something for someone else. What do you do at that moment? You expand your vessel. When you just focus on yourself, how big are you? Yeah, just a tiny little you. Oh, let's say I'm really big. Let's say I'm 7 foot tall, and I'm, let's say, 180 pounds. No, 250 pounds. 300 pounds. How big am I relatively to the universe? Just a little speck of dust. That's how big you are. The moment you care and you really authentically care for someone else, you double your size. You double your vessel. You care for another person, you triple it. You care for a community, you really grow. You care for whole audience, for whole... You understand what I'm saying? When we care for others, we're not doing any favor to them. We're simply saving ourselves from being fried. That's as simple as that. After that, the light of God can come in. What about, let's go to real innovative professional people. How do they become so successful? Is when they get out of themselves and they think about how can I do something in order to help people to live better. You know what happens? The more people you want to help, the bigger you become. You know what happens when you become bigger? There's more space to get more of God's light. There's more space to get more power. Then you become more innovative, more productive, more creative. More ideas coming in, more power comes in. Your means are getting bigger and stronger. You become a different person. The scale of your activity, the scale of your effect is changing. Not by getting out of the kitchen, by cooling it down and using that power to share, to care. What do you do to the intensity that burns you down? The moment you just get out of yourself, the burning down will stop. So when people are so busy about themselves, no wonder they start to feel that fried. No wonder they become addicted to all kinds of drugs, medicated or not, prescribed or not prescribed, legal or not legal. It doesn't matter. It's the same story. You are in pain because you're taking and you're not giving. And you don't know how to get out of the kitchen because I don't think the Creator wants to let you get out of the kitchen. He's after you wherever you go. Till you start getting out of yourself and really be there for others. And without thinking you're doing a favor to them. No, they give you a favor by letting you helping them. Because by that you become greater and greater and greater and greater. And when you become greater, you're not just expanding your vessel, you're creating a vessel. Now that vessel stays forever. Tzidkato omedet la'ad. That stays forever. That is a vessel nobody can take away from you. How do you know? There's no headache in the morning after. How do you know? You see that joy continues day after day. You realize that the power you feel imbues into every part of your soul and your body and gives you more self-esteem. And the next time somebody needs you, you have more trust that you can help them. And you realize the longer you just walk on it, and the more you stretch about being there for others, you're just becoming the person you never even dreamt to become. You're becoming the person that, like, I didn't even figure out I can become that person. Why? Because you're going by the rules. And going by the rules is becoming closer and closer to God. As we said, getting closer to God, you need an umbrella. You need a shade. And the shade is the giving, the sharing, the caring, being there for others. There's an amazing saying, midrash about King David. You know what they say, David HaMelech Chai V'Kayam. King David is living and forever. Why? You wonder. And it says, the Midrash is saying, David HaMelech Haya Mitpalel, King David was praying for all of Israel. Okay, he was the king. No, he was praying for all of them, all the way till the end of the generations. He was praying for the sick one to heal. He was praying for the healthy ones not to get sick. He was praying for the people to get their livelihood. He was putting the base so people will have the support till the coming of the Messiah, till the end of the days. When a person is there, how do you know? You know, people read Psalms and they feel like these words were written for me. It was written by King David 3,000 years ago. The guy was a king, but he knew the person's soul. He knew the stuff a person goes through. You can, in every state of mind of need, you go through Psalms, you find a chapter that's exactly what I was going to say. That's exactly the prayer that I need to get me to become whoever I want to become. That's why he lives forever. Because whoever you care for,
Thank you.
that's what you become. Is that clear?
Oh, you really look after me.
So let's go back. So when we understand that Abraham is feeling the pressure, what I mean, he feels the heat of the day. He's feeling the revelation, and he knows when you are experiencing a very great high, don't wait till it's becoming painful and it's burning. Turn it into sharing immediately. And that's why sages are saying we learn from Abraham's actions that hospitality and entertaining your guests is more important than the revelation of the Holy Spirit. גדולה הכנסת אורחים מגילוי השכינה. מצוות הכנסת אורחים. Why? To teach us. You really want the Holy Spirit to dwell on you? Be careful, it can burn you into ashes. Don't ever let it dwell on you without you going out and creating a shade. What do I mean a shade? By instead of focusing, wow, I'm enjoying it so much, go and do something for someone else. What if you just waited too long and you feel that you are being burned alive because there's something consuming me like fire, the fear, the anxiety, life is so tough. Why are you sitting there? Go and do something for someone else. No, when I'm miserable, everybody should take care of me. You stupid. That's not the rules. You're going to burn even more. Now, didn't you notice? You see that person? He needs help. The guy is burning. The guy is so stressed out. The guy is like freaking out. He's so much in deep pressure. Negativity is like in ache. He's all ache. So what do? You hug him and you give him and you just try to indulge him. What's the reaction? He has complaints. Did you notice that? Why? He is still in pain. What's the best way to get him out of the pain? Go out of your way. Go out of the box and do something for someone. That's what Abraham is teaching us. And you'll be saved. You won't be burned anymore. What happens to Abraham on that day? So the legend is saying that he ran to take a calf. He wanted to slaughter the calf to make, big barbecue for the guests, fresh meat. But the calf runs away. Remember, it's a hot day. He's in pain, whatever. He runs up to the calf. And he runs, he doesn't say, oh God, why? Murphy, why? I'm trying to do something good. Why is it so tough? No, he runs up to the calf. I wanted to go to make meat. I'm going to make meat. The calf goes into a cave. He runs into the cave after the calf. Sees light. The earth is moving, says the Zohar. He sees a man standing out from the earth, and he's also shining. Are you Adam? Yes, I'm Adam. Eve is here also. This is the gate of the Garden of Eden. He found the cave of Machpelah. That's one bonus. He brings back the calf. He's not staying in the cave like, wow, I found the cave. I have guests at home. Okay, we'll keep it for later. He goes back with the calf. And then the guests are telling him, we came to bring you a message. So one of them is bringing the message. You remember, you can't have a child. Sarah cannot have a child. Today, a year from now, you have a son. You call him Isaac. And the second game. The second angel heals him from his pain, from his wounds, right? He was circumcised. Oh, what a relief. Okay? The third angel says, I can't hide it from you. I was sent to burn Sodom and Gomorrah. You know why? On that day, when so much power is coming down to earth, some people thrive and have miracles. Some people simply go ablaze and get fried. And that's what happened to Sodom and Gomorrah. What's the story of Sodom and Gomorrah? The major story we know about it, they were not allowed to give. They were a rich community, and they were not allowed to give. Whoever, there was a stranger who came and somebody gave him, they will execute him. Which means, if you don't give this week and all your life, you'll be fried. That's Sodom and Gomorrah. So it shows you, it's only a choice that you have to make. Abram could go with Sodom and Gomorrah. He could get vaporized into ashes. But he knew already the rules. They did not know the rules. They thought the more you take, the more you have. What a lie. How many people do you know that all their lives they're just into assembling, collecting stuff? And the more they have, the less they behave like they have. The more anxious, the more anxiety, the more fear, the more pain. Why? The more you get, the more fried you become. Remember that. It's very dangerous just to take. If I can't use it for others also, that's dangerous. That's dangerous. Why? I shouldn't have a home? Of course you should have a home. You should have a home so you can help other people. You can have guests, that you can do something for others. Whatever you have. You should be very brilliant, powerful, rich, whatever. That will help you and not be against you if you use it for other people's benefit too, not just for them. So, a lot of religions try to say, how you're going to save your life from depression, negativity, whatever? Detach. Detach from your desires. Of course, you can become a carpet. Did you ever hear about a carpet that had a depression? Or manic depressive carpet? No. Being a carpet, it's like you're nothing. Everybody can step on you, drop the dirt on you, and it's just a carpet. The Torah does not teach us to be a carpet. The Torah says God created you with desires. Don't give them up. Transform them. Use them for the benefit of others. Then you can also enlarge your desires to the scope you never even dreamt before. How do you know that? As we said, the birth of Isaac, if Abraham is the chariot for chesed, for loving kindness, and you see his action of giving, unconditional giving, but through this story, is Abraham already complete, fixed, when he's 99 years old in this story? No. As we said, he continues to move on. As long as you live, you're supposed to transform yourself, to reinvent yourself, to look at everything every day like you've never seen it before. There's something new waiting every day. Don't miss it. How are you going to find it? Get out of your box. Get out of the comfort zone. What an oxymoron. You want to feel comfortable? Get out of your comfort zone. Oh, you want to be fried? Stay in your comfort zone. Don't worry, that will come. The rear wheel drive will come. You're going to start feeling fried, and then again, you're going to start a chili corner, and you'll be running like a mouse, looking for a hole just for that escape. Okay, so maybe you go to the beach, maybe you go to a resort. Didn't you see people in resort burning, frying, fighting with their husband, wife, kids, whatever? Why can't I rest? Fighting with the waiter, fighting with the caretaker of the house. It will go after you. Don't worry. Don't worry. And if it comes, the rest and the tranquility comes just for a day or two, don't worry. That was just a preparation for good for the coming. You want real rest to be with you? Is when you are on the go, sharing and caring and doing and so on, and then suddenly you feel that you're really restful inside. That energy fills you and gives you something of an inner peace. And that's the real one, because that stays forever. Now, during this story, Abraham has to get out of his comfort zone. The angel says to Abraham, I'm going to kill all of Sodom and Gomorrah. And Abraham is like, wow, this is too bad. And he says, just a second. God, you said that I can change stuff. So what if there are 50 righteous people in Sodom and Gomorrah? You're going to destroy the whole city and kill these 50 people? And God says, no, if there are 50 righteous people, I'm not going to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah. Abraham says, yes, I made a difference. And then he says, but what if there are 45 and not 50? Should I say, shouldn't I say? Maybe God will be angry about me. And then, but I can't not say. Okay, God, please. Oh yes, which means, they continue, he's still in Revelation. So God, what if there are 45? Just because 5 are missing, you're going to destroy all of them? God says, you know what? 45, I won't destroy. So Abraham goes down till it comes down to 10. He thinks, I can't push him down, so low. It's like, but there were no 10. So Gomorrah was lost. Abraham still did not realize how deep it can go. There's a story about Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, some 2,000 years later. Story about Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, the author of the Zohar. One day he gets up, it's dark. He says, why is it dark? It's daytime. And then he goes like to a higher level, and he sees this like huge dark angel blocking the light. So Rabbi Shimon says, who are you? And he says, God sent me to destroy the world. So Rabbi Shimon says, well, there's enough righteous people in the world. You can't destroy the world. Get out of here. So the angel goes, he comes back and says, God told me not to listen to you. So Rabbi Shimon says, look, that 2 of us, me and my son, and that's enough. Don't come back. Get out of here. So the angel goes, he comes back and he said, God told me not to listen to you. Says Rabbi Shimon, you know what? I'm here and that's enough. Get lost. If I see you again, that's your last moment. So the angel goes back to God. And God says, I can't send the angel anymore. So a word comes from heaven. Praiseworthy are the righteous, because about that it says that the righteous makes a decree and God has to follow that decree. Abraham is not on that level yet. It took about 2,000 years. Okay? Just for us to remember, wherever you are, there's a better you waiting tomorrow to be revealed. And there's another better you, even better than that, next week waiting for you to be revealed. And you know what? A month from now, a year from now, there's another better you that is even better, waiting for you to be revealed. That you should reveal it. Because Whatever you think life is great and life is good, the Creator prepared for you something even better than that. But He can't give it to you for free. So He gives you those pressure here and confusion over there. So you can take that, expand, and then you realize, wow, I didn't know I can deal with that. But He knew. That's why He gave it to you. So after the story of so Abraham, for him, it's a huge revelation. He can pray for others. Okay, didn't go all the way till, I'm here, God, and that's enough. Leave them alone. Right? Oh, like Moses, 500 years later, when God says, I gave them the Torah. I gave them immortal life. And they betrayed me just like this, in the middle of just building it together. And Moses says, God, you gave us the Torah to overcome our evil inclination. It didn't work. Give us something bigger, something stronger. What? Then God gives it to him. Isn't that a revelation? Why? Because you know one thing. You think you invested into it? He's more invested into it. He with a big H, He created us. So we'll be happy and fulfilled. He's much more invested in that. Because, I quit. I don't want to be happy. Enough. I want to be detached. I want to be a carpet. You can't quit it. I created you to become that magical human being you're supposed to become. You're not going anywhere. Moses knows that. He knows it's all for the good. And that's why he goes right into, give us something better. Why? You want us to become better? Right. Okay? You don't want to destroy us, right? You kill us all. We'll come back next lifetime because you don't have anyone else. That's us. That's, me and you and us. That's what it is. There's nothing else. Okay? So let's do it right now. Okay? How do you give us a tool to make it better? Okay? So God said, okay, forget about it. Then again, maybe not. We're not going to kill everybody. Let's move on. I'll give you another tool. Why? Because Moses basically took off the veil. It's not like, maybe God is going to hate me and He's going to forget about me. There's no way. Okay, God, I know you love me. I know you have nobody else to be me. And here we are. We're stuck together. Okay, how do you help me to become better me? Do you understand that? Yeah, messed up. Terribly. I'm suffering a lot because of that. Okay, so help me. That's King David. That's Moses. That's Abraham. That's a new message of this parasha that we have to reveal another dimension of it. Not right now. This week. The pain is never to spite us and to betray or to vengeance. Pain is only just to get us move forward. Nothing else. It's a drive. So we have some other stories. We don't have time to go into it. We have to finish. But in Abraham, the next story that is really important is the story of the binding of Isaac. How does that story start? We read it on the second day of Rosh Hashanah. And it's exactly the same old thing, what we just said. And what does it say over there? This is chapter 22, as far as I remember, verse 1. Yes. And it says, and after those things, and God, VaElohim nisa et Avram. Translation. And God tested Abraham. That's how most translations go for. It says as well, the word nisa is not from testing. It's from the word nes, miracle. God wanted to show Abraham another dimension. This is 38 years later after the beginning of the parasha. This parasha stretches over 38 years. Okay, what does it say? And God wanted to give Abraham a miracle. What's the miracle? He says, go bring an offering on Mount Moriah. Later on, the temple was built over there, Jerusalem. And bring as an offering, bring your own child, the beloved child, Isaac. What a story. God wants me to kill my own son with my own hands. You know, before you know Kabbalah, as a kid, reading that story, it was horrible. It was so dark. It's like an Ingmar Bergman movie. Horrifying. You don't show kids movies like this. Horrifying, like Green Brothers from the Black Forest. This is terrible. No, it's not. Abraham has to learn to make another miracle. Everybody thinks that chesed should be passive. Or should be a nice guy. Should never say no. Always bring the guests. But remember Abraham, when the guests were coming, was trying to check out what kind of people they are so he can lift them up and heal them. Sometimes if you love your child, you have to say no. Out of your love. Sometimes when you love people around you, you should put boundaries. Because a lot of people don't know the boundaries. And when they trespass into your own place, in places they're not supposed to, everything blows up and nobody feels comfortable. It becomes terrible to everyone, right? So what do you do with that? You have to set the boundaries. You have to say no. And that's out of love because you really care about them. So part of chesed is, you don't have like absolute chesed. Loving kindness, part of it is also judgment. How do you see that? It says, and Abraham is taking Isaac. Isaac is the chariot for judgment, for Gvura. They walk together. Why should I know it was 3 days? Right, left, center. They're building now the central column. Abraham, Isaac, you need certain column. How do you do that? Abraham has to take power and control. How does he do it? First, we see that he takes the knife, judgment, and the fire, judgment. Chesed. Okay? And then when they come to the place, he set up the tree, the wood, and Abraham and Isaac lies down on the wood. Remember, now Abraham is 137 years old. Isaac is 37 years old. Okay? 37 years old. Says the Zohar. If you think that this is a test, whose test is bigger? Isaac. Abraham had an order from God. Isaac had no one. He just trusts his father that he knows what he's doing. Whose test is bigger? And you know what? If Isaac just jumped off the rocks and said, Dad, I don't know what you're doing, but I'm going back to Mom. Now let Abraham run after him. He's 137, Isaac is 37. It's hopeless. Abraham could say, God, I tried my best. I can't. Right? I can't. Isaac should say, I didn't know anything. So both are exempt. So whose test is bigger, says the Zohar? Isaac. So if you're talking about the test, Isaac's test was bigger. Trusting his father. I know if my father thinks that I should be offered as a burnt offering, I trust him. Wow. This is much bigger than Abraham trusting God. He heard God. Not the first time. So the Zohar said that's not a test. It's a nisayon. It's a nisa from the word nes. Abraham rises and creates a miracle. He learns another aspect he never learned before. What does he learn? That the right column, the power of chesed, can take over, bind, control the left column, the judgment. And by this, you save the judgment from burning itself. Why do we read every morning in the morning prayer, we read that story? Because every morning we have to bind ourselves, not to kill, to bind our desire to receive. Because when your desire to receive is bound by the desire to share, it becomes a desire to receive for the sake of sharing. And then what comes next? A real revelation. How do you know? When Abram hears the angel that says, don't touch the lad. Don't kill him. What does it mean? Isaac, God gave you the desire to receive, not so you get it extinct. He gave it to you so you use it wisely. So you use it as a desire to receive. Yes, you want the whole world. Why not? As long as it is for sharing. Who gave you that desire? God. He didn't create a desire so you suppress it or detach from it. He gave you the desire so you bind it. And now when it's bound, use it. What's the next verse? The next verse is Vayikra, it's verse 14, chapter 22. Vayikra vam shema makom hahu, and Abram calls that place that became later on the temple in Jerusalem. Hashem yireh asher yamer hayom behar Hashem yireh. That's a name for a place. God will see whatever is going to be said today in the mountain of God will be seen. That's a code. You realize it's a code. What do you hear? First, 2 times you hear the name of God, 2 times you hear the word to see or to reveal and to vision. This is the place of revelation in this mountain, in this place, so people can see their soul themselves. Why do people come to Jerusalem? They don't come to see stones. You know, the Ministry of Tourism in Israel, they think they come to see stones. You know, the stones in Athens are much more beautiful. For the eyes, much more beautiful. You know, the stones in Rome, much more impressive. Right? And you know what? Why do you have to see stones that are after destruction? Go to Vienna, see the palaces. Go to Paris, see the palaces. There's so many cities, St. Petersburg. The palaces, the building is so amazing, fabulous. Why do the people come to Jerusalem and say, what a beautiful city? What? You can't have any one building in Jerusalem that even in comparison to these magnificent buildings in Europe or in America. Why people say it's so beautiful? Because it's not the stone. They look at the stones and they see their soul. And they see the beauty of their soul. That's something they will never forget. Oh, the big palaces that built for the egos of the kings of Europe, forget it. It's all fake. Jerusalem is truth. You want to see, that's a place to see. To see deep into your soul. You see something in your soul that you've never seen before. And that's why some people come again and again, and some people, they've been to Jerusalem, it's like, wow, what? You don't have a big, Champs-Élysées in Jerusalem, but whatever, everything is so small and pitiful. But it's not that. It's the energy of the ability to see that deep inside you have a spark of God, that God's love it and will love it forever. And that's your promise for the future. Thank you so much. And have a great week. Don't forget to share.